My name is Letitia Mteshi. I'm a businesswoman.
And I'm Michael Muteshi. I'm in IT.
And this is our dream wedding.
She's a very thoughtful person. Our first date went very well. First dates are normally sometimes tense, awkward silences. So the fact that she was able to the conversation that we had impressed me about her, and I think also the beauty, the smile. Who can resist such a smile? Yeah.
I was very open-minded, and when I met him, the first thing that attracted me to him was he was very decisive, very, very decisive. From the conversation we'd had where to go, and I think I'd suggested a place where he didn't like, and when we immediately met, he was like, I don't like this place, can we move to the next place? And I'm thinking, as much as I don't like the way you, but I really like the way he actually was very comfortable to express himself how he didn't like the venue. We moved to the next venue, which was comfortable for him. And as he said, we didn't have, it wasn't an awkward moment. We didn't have any awkward moment. Yeah. I was praying. I was praying, and I think God had just answered probably. I didn't know at that time. When you look back, you're thinking, yeah, God had actually answered my prayer then. But definitely I was single and praying for a partner.
We are both strong-minded personalities, and we are young at heart, but not that young of age. So, having lived alone to a certain age, you're fixed in your ways. So when you're bringing these two strong personalities together, there's bound to be the initial conflict. There are things that she would do that I wouldn't see the reason for, and there are things that I would do that she would find very awkward. So I think that meshing initially, we had our initial ups and downs, of course, and a few arguments or disagreements here and there.
He's very organized, extremely organized. I am organized, but not as organized as he is.
Just say you're disorganized.
I am not as organized as he is. So he always when you're planning something, he wants details. He likes to have all the details. He wants to compare his options so that he picks the best option. I just wait until the final day and then pick whatever option that is available. So we had to work around that and see what he likes, how can we then work together.
So bringing that together was a bit of a trick.
Yeah. You probably think I am the woman here, I want to rearrange something, and he's very particular on how he wants his stuff arranged or how he had arranged them, so he doesn't want you to mix them up or rearrange them. But I think when he finally understood and he needed to let go and allow me to take control of the house at some point so that I arrange it the way I'm comfortable. Yeah, so that, and just manage the house. So he finally let go some parts.
Letting go was a very difficult experience for me because I've lived alone for quite a long period in my life, so I'm used to doing everything. Doing my own shopping, doing my shopping list, knowing everything. So it's that issue of, do you trust that the person will do it as good as I would have done it myself? But once someone has shown that they can actually do it and they can do it as good as or even better, it now gave me the confidence to slowly, bit by bit, let go, until nowadays I have finally go. I don't even know where things are in my house, in the house anymore. But also I think our age and maturity helped us overcome them and solve them, because there were things that we would fight but sit down and say, it's just a matter of our background and where we are coming from, how can we solve this? So of course we had our bumps and whatever, but as time went by and we started getting more accustomed to each other, we kind of just continued, and here we are.
Actually, I thought the bridesmaids will come in, we'll dress up and leave. That was all I had planned for that morning. My phone had been taken away the previous night by my family, so I didn't have my phone. I was so disconnected with everything that was happening around the event. The camera people had arrived and my bridesmaids had not arrived. We had communicated the previous day and agreed that they need to be at the house by 8 a.m. And I think it was approaching 9, 10, only one had arrived by then. Wedding is at 1, I was supposed to be picked at 11, so around 10:30, still some of them had not arrived. And I think I started getting very anxious, and at some point I got a meltdown. It wasn't really what I had anticipated for that particular day. I thought they would probably arrive a little bit earlier, we do the makeup without hurry, take some photos and enjoy the morning before we were picked, but we didn't get to have that time. But my moods actually improved when I saw all of them here and they're dressing up and everything is picked up and the day started moving and the makeup artist was here, so I felt better. Initially I was very worried when they were not here, but I'm very happy right now. Everything is done and we are ready to move.
Naomba tu Mungu ambariki, muishi pamoja kwa upendo na kwa kusaidiana na kwa kuvumiliana. Kwa mashida au kwa mazuri mkuwe pamoja. Mungu ambariki nyinyi wote.
Asante. I think when I came down after I dressed up and then I met my mom, at that point I was very emotional. You know, while I was upstairs and dressing up, it hadn't really hit me that this is it. When I came down, met my mom, I was very emotional and everyone was around me, people were singing. And for a moment I'm thinking, okay, it's happening and I need to calm down and be composed. But it was a mixed feeling. I was anxious about the day. At the same time, I was very emotional that I am finally being handed over to my husband to be. It was a very emotional time for me.
Group of friends, I'm actually the last one to get married, so they've been teasing and whatever, so they had their day to tease me for the last day, doing my last day as a single guy of the group. Now they said I could be officially part of the group now that I'm married with them. So of course we had our banter. I was nervous until when we reached the venue. When I reached the venue, being who I am, I was just asking myself, what can possibly go wrong? Because it was just that anxiety of before things get started. I arrived at the venue and we had planned to start at 1 p.m. So I arrived a bit earlier, and so actually guests hadn't shown up. There were no people. So I was saying the bride is going to arrive. People haven't arrived yet. But once people started arriving and I saw the bride arriving, I said, all will be well now.
I was tense, first of all. When you walk in and stepping out of the car, my first moment was like, it's happening. And then my parents were there. So my next moment was like, now, what happens next? Yeah, so when he came, and my parents escorted me, when he came and picked me, I was very tensed. I was very tensed, yeah, because now there's no going back. Yeah, at that particular moment, there was no going back. It was happening actually.
Not seen the gown? There's a whole story behind that gown. I'm sure she'll tell us the story. I had not seen the gown. I actually saw it when she was walking down the aisle. It was a life-changing moment because, at that time, everyone's eyes are on the two of you. You are the bride and the groom. It is actually your day, it's actually happening. So I was actually telling myself, it's actually happening. The moments that you feel, you want to pinch yourself, is this really me? Because I had never pictured myself in that moment. So for me, it was quite a life-changing moment. I felt like actually pinching myself, is this happening? Yeah, she looked gorgeous. She looked gorgeous. I had had my misgivings about the gown because of the adventures involved, but it looked gorgeous. She looked very pretty. Proud. I felt very proud. I felt I've made the right decisions and it's the right time. Yeah. And I felt proud of what we are doing.
Yeah, Ephesians chapter 5 inasema, why submit to your husband? So there are people you can learn from. Marriages that have worked and you can look around. But equally there are marriages that have not done so well. And from that you can also learn and say, I saw what happened in this case and we can avoid that in our marriage, so that we can also work on our marriage and make it a better place.
Things that to talk about, I think I can say two, probably for the sake of time. We shouldn't compare our relationship with others. We are unique. Second item is, yeah, putting Jesus first in our relationship. Yes.
Rejoicing with you in victories, to love and to cherish.
To say the vows. Initially, there's the panic that I may say them wrongly, I may say the words wrongly, but at least we had the pastor officiating the ceremony was quite good and kept guiding us through the day. So it helped calm the nerves a bit, but there was a bit of anxiety about what if I say the wrong thing, what will happen, it will be such an embarrassment, but yeah.
For better, for worse. In sickness and in health.
At that particular moment, for those who believe like myself, so I was thinking on the judgment day, I will be asked if I lived, I actually lived to accomplish the vows that I made to my husband. So there was a lot of some panic, but tension, more from my side. There was a lot of tension. And I think after the vows, I was calm. That was the most important bit.
Once we had said the vows, I really relaxed because I said now, even if everything else goes wrong, we are legally married. So everything can come tumbling down, whatever happens. So I think walking to where the certificates were, my step was more confident, more sure, because now I knew we have said the vows, we are legally married, nothing can break the union. So I was a bit more relaxed now, very relaxed going to sign the certificates.
I've been taken by surprise, of course. Michael is my nephew. On my maternal side, he's our first nephew. And he's very responsible, very meticulous. I have worked. He's not only my nephew, but he has worked for me during a very, very volatile time of my life. And he held fort for me, and he's a good chap. And what can I say? I really don't know what to say about Michael. I am proud of him. I am proud that he has brought a wife home, and has brought a wife home in such a nice and responsible way. He's shown her to all of us. He's really opened that chapter wonderfully for all our other children. Leticia should know that she's gotten herself a very, very good and responsible young man who will take care of her to kingdom come. That's all I can say.
She's been a mentor for a while, so she's someone who has known me for quite a while, and she had expressed how proud she was of me for having done the wedding the way I decided to do a wedding. It's the right thing, and as I had said, I'm the first one in the family to do a wedding, so I was setting an example for those following behind. So I just really wanted to capture her thoughts and opinions, because she had really expressed her pleasure at the whole event.
The setup was as we had discussed with Catherine. Of course, when we got in, we wanted to look around and see, but you don't see much then. Yeah, we looked around to just try and see if the setup is done well. But I was happy with the setup. I wanted to enjoy the wedding, so everything was calm and easy. Yeah.
I was awed by the reception that people gave us. Everyone came, you know, we had expected that people would be at the reception seated and would just walk in, but everyone actually got up and came towards us. Everyone was dancing, and wow, the dance. I'm still awed, I'm still in shock from the dancing. I was not expecting that much dancing at all.
I am very happy that today katika familia yetu tumeongeza a beautiful looking lady in the name of Leticia.
From his side, the welcome to their home was very touching. From my side, actually, being reminded that they do love me, and yeah, when my big bro said we love you, it was very emotional, yeah, for me.
You are our last born sister. We love you. You know, I'm your firstborn brother.
The fact that the brother mentioned she's the last born in the family, so she's their jewel, and they're giving me their last born jewel, so they asked me to take care of her. So for me, that really put a sense of responsibility, because this is the last one of the family. They don't have any other child, and they've actually lovingly handed her over. You do have a responsibility and an answerability to them to treat her well and love her as much as possible.
When you date, after you've dated for a while, you start asking yourself, where is this relationship heading? He likes to take control, as I've said before. So I couldn't obviously hint and ask, but I was hoping that it will come very soon.
I took her to Karura and told her when was the last time you had ever cycled, because I wanted to introduce her into some of the things I like. I'm sure it wasn't what she was expecting. She was expecting cycling on flat paths, but Karura Forest has ups and downs. It's mountain bikes, so it was a new experience. So in fact, I chose a much longer route. So it reached a point she was getting quite tired and frustrated and angry. So I said I'll wait until when she's at the most angriest of her moments, is when I will propose. So we had cycled and we had reached this very huge hill. And she kept asking me how much further, so I kept saying it's just near. So after climbing that huge hill, she was almost like giving up. She was so annoyed at me because I'd told her it wasn't much longer. So anyway, we sat down to rest a bit. Then we got up to continue cycling. And I called out to her and she turned back And there I was with the ring.
When he actually called me and I saw the ring, I was very, very surprised. Yes, it caught me by surprise completely. And of course, I had dated him, I loved him, and it was a big yes. So when I was shopping for my gown, I decided to import a gown. So I went online, chose a design, sent measurements, and the production started. So I was expecting the gown to arrive at least 2 weeks to the wedding. So a week to the wedding, the shipping company tells me there's some delay and they cannot deliver the gown. The wedding was on 9th, so I got a text telling me they can only deliver it between 5th and 8th. So in my head I'm thinking, what if it arrives on 8th and it doesn't fit me? What will happen after that? So it was a week before I decided to get a plan B. I went to the mall to look for a gown, got one that actually went to just fit randomly as a plan B. And then I landed on the gown that I wore that day and actually liked it more than the original gown that I wore. So in my head I was like, at least I have a plan B. So if this particular, the plan A fails, I will just go and buy it because it was a perfect fit. I didn't need to adjust it. I'll actually buy it and wear it on that day. So the gown arrived about 3 days to the wedding. I think I'd lost weight because of the pressure of the wedding and everything. I was actually half the size of the measurement that I'd sent. I was half the size. The gown was big and I didn't like it as much as I'd liked the second option. So what I decided to close my eyes and spend more money and just get this other option. I went for it. 3 days to the wedding. I got my gown 3 days to the wedding. I went and bought that gown. It's a good idea, but don't push it to the last minute. Have your gown at least a month to the wedding, so that if there's any adjustment that you need to do on the gown, do it earlier. If there's any delays in the shipping or delays in production, when you're ordering, give yourself a month. Get your gown a month to the wedding.
Having reliable people stand by you. I think one lesson she learned on behalf of her brethren, something that we had been advised during premarital counseling, we'll all want to put our best and most able people to be in part of our lineup. It might not necessarily be the best advice. You can actually put them to be in charge of specific roles and then put other people in the lineup, because if you put your best people in the lineup, they are not available to play these other roles. So I really appreciate the team that we had behind us, because it came to a week towards the wedding. We had prepared everything and we now handed over to them. And on my part, for example, the roles that I had, things like transport, the people I handed over to, I could sleep in peace because they really gave their best. So you might make a mistake of, this is your very good friend and you put them on the lineup, but now they're not available to do other roles for you. So having a strong team behind you makes a really big difference.
That's very important, because our most reliable friends were not on the lineup. We gave them different roles and they came through for us.